उत्सन्न कुल धर्माणां मनुष्य जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवति इत्यनुशुश्रुमा। उत्सन्न कुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासः भवति इति अनुशुश्रुमा। O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I've heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family traditions um, dwell always in hell. Okay. उत्सन्नेति जाति धर्म आदीना उपलक्षणम एतत्. So when jati dharma is destroyed, when it says when kula dharma is destroyed, utsanna kula dharma, those who destroy family traditions, those who have family traditions spoiled. This refers not only to kula dharmas or family traditions, it also refers to jati dharmas. The entire varna dharma, the community that follows that particular varna dharma, they will stop following that. It also refers to ashrama dharma. It also refers to, yes, it refers to ashrama dharma also. Anushushuna, Shrutavantaha Vayam Guru Mukhat. We have heard this from our gurus in disciplic succession. Prayashittam akurvana papeshu nirata nara apashatapinah kashtan nirayan yanti darunan ityadi vakyes. What have we heard from our spiritual masters? We have heard this statement from the Dharma Shastra that when one does not perform prayaschitta, people who have been absorbed in sinful activities, when later they do not perform prayaschitta austerities and they do not feel any repentance, they don't repent, such people, they will attain very terrible and difficult to endure hells. So this we have heard from our spiritual authorities. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. এই জনার্দন শুনিয়াছি যে সকল মনুষ্যের কুলধর্ম উৎসন্ন হইয়া যায়, তাহারা নিয়ত নরকে বাস করিয়া থাকে। O Lord Janardhan, I've heard that all those men who for whom their kuladharmas, family duties are spoiled, they would have to live in hell continuously. Arjuna bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. That is a way of receiving real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. There's a system in the Varnashrama institution by which before death one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities, for his previous sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called prayaschitta. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to the hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as the result of sinful activities. 44. Aho batamahat papam kartum vyavasitavayam yad rajya sukhalobhena hantu svajanamudyatah. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Question. Yes.
So how this prayaschitta can be done?
Prayaschitta is done under the guidance of learned Brahmanas. Prayaschitta is a very important part of Karma Kanda. It involves various austerities. These austerities are very long, 12 years, 24 years, like that. So when they are done like that by a repentant person, then they will not go to hell or attain lower species for punishment. That is the procedure.
And there are different kinds of prayaschitta according to one's grade of sin.
Yeah, that's all. It's a major topic in the Dharma Shastras. What are the different prayashchitas and all that?
So that actually comes for the karmi people.
Yeah, naturally.
Okay.
बंधु वध व्यवसायेन अपि पापं संभाव्य अनुतपन्नाः अहो इति. Even the very desire to kill our dear ones, our relatives, that itself can lead to sinful reactions. Considering that possibility, he repents now. Aho iti. Bata iti sandehe. Bata indicates a doubt. Alas, Bata, how strange it is. How strange it is means that we are most probably committing greatly sinful acts. Ha, ki dukher vishay. Oh, how sad. Amra rajya sukha lobhe. With a greed for royal happiness. Swajana bodhe samudyata hoya. We have become ready to kill our relatives. Mahapap purite kritasankalpa hoyachi. We have resolved to commit such a great sin in this manner. Driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world, but Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. 45. Yadi mam apratikaram ashastram shastraparnayah dhartarashtra rane hanyus tanme kshemataram bhavet. Dhartarashtraha. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Nanu tvai bandhu vadhat vinivritte api, even if you desist from killing your relatives, Bhishma adibhihi yuddha utsukaihi twadvadhaha syadeva. Bhishma and the others who are very eager to engage in this war will certainly kill you. Tatah kim vidheyam. So then what are you going to do about that? Iti chet. If Lord Krishna were to tell that to him, Tatraha, Arjuna says, Yadimam iti apratikaram akritam mad vadha adhyavasaya papa prayaschittam. I will not resist. I will not resist means that I will not oppose them when they attempt to kill me. And that itself will be my prayaschitta, atonement for the sin of having decided to kill them in war, which, because he thinks that that's a sin, that very thought is a sin. Kshemataram, patihitam, it would be better for me, more honorable for me, that I'm killed by them. Prananta prayaschittena eva etat papa avamarjanam. Because prayaschitta is done at the end of one's life. So this sin which I have incurred by having considered that I will fight my relatives and kill them in warfare, that sinful reaction, I want to remove it. So when I go on war, I will not resist, I will not fight back, they will kill me, and then that is my prayaschitta. So in that way, that sin will get cleansed off when they kill me. Bhishmadayah tu na tat papa phalam prapsyanti eva. On the other hand, Bhishma and the others, they will not incur a sin. They will not incur the result of that sin. Certainly, that is the implication here. আমি অস্ত্রহীন ও প্রতিকার পরাঙ্মুখ হইলেও যদি অস্ত্রধারী ধার্তরাষ্ট্রগণ আমাকে রণে নিহত করে, even if I'm without weapons and I do not, and I'm averse to opposing my enemies, the Dhartarashtras with weapons, if they were to kill me in battle, তাহাও আমার পক্ষে শ্রেয়স্কর হইবে. It will be better for me. It is a custom, according to Kshatriya fighting principles, that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. Arjuna, however, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He did not consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to soft-heartedness resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord. Achyutanam Prabhu.
Prabhu, I missed that point which you said. Which sin Arjuna was thinking that he has committed, for which he will do prayashchit by remaining unarmed and getting killed by enemy?
In the previous commentary, Baladev Vidya-Bhusana had stated that Arjuna had considered that simply thinking about killing his relatives in warfare, that itself is a sinful thought which will produce a sinful reaction.
And why Bhishma and others, they will not be incurred by sin if they kill Arjuna, even if they kill Arjuna? According to Arjuna's thought, because he said that if they kill me, it will not be a sin on their part.
Because we are the ones who are asking for this. Okay, it all starts with this. We want the kingdom. They don't want to give the kingdom, but we want the kingdom. So the war is caused by whom? By us. Which means either you give us a kingdom or we'll kill you. We'll kill you. That is a sinful thought. That is going to produce a sinful reaction. That sinful reaction needs to be cleansed. Prayaschitta. So if we go on this war and the opposite party fights, they are only fighting in defense. So why will they get a sinful reaction for that? They do not call for this war. We are the ones who call for the war. So when because we resolve to kill our relatives, that itself is a sinful thought, because of which one will get a sinful reaction, because of which I'll have to suffer and so on. I want to remove that sinful reaction through an atonement process so that I don't have to go to hell. All of this is a normal thinking pattern only in the past. It's only now we are so barbaric, we don't think like this.
And here just one piece is missing, that actually the Pandavas needed some land to rule as Kshatriyas. Means that point is not considered by Arjuna while thinking.
No, for that he already stated, no, what is the use of all this kingdom and all this? Our relatives are going to die, and the relatives are dead, and we cannot share our opulence, we cannot show off our opulence. So many, all these arguments he gave.
Mhm. Okay, Prabhu.
46. Sanjay Uvacha Evam Uktarjuna Sankhye Rathopasthu Upavishad Visrijya Sharam Chapum Shokasam Vignam Anasaha. Sanjaya Uvacha Evam Uttva Arjuna Sankhye Ratha Upasthe Upavishad Visrijya Sharam Chapum Shokasam Vignam Anasaha. Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. ततः किम अभूत इत्यपेक्षायाम Sanjay Uvacha. So then what happened? Anticipating this, Sanjay speaks. Sanjay spoke. Evam uktva iti. Sankhye yuddhe ratha upasthe ratha upari upavishad upavivesha. Arjuna sat down on his chariot right in the midst of this war. Urvam yuddhaya prati yodhri vilokanaya cha uttitah san. He was the one who had been standing in order to examine his opponents in war. Ahimsrasya atmajigyasa dayardrasya upajayate tad viruddhasya naiveti prathamat upadharitam. Ahimsrasya atmajigyasa daya-ardrasya upajayate tad viruddhasya na eva iti prathamat upadharitam. So from the first chapter, we conclude that when a person is non-violent and he is moist with compassion for others, then inquiry about spiritual topics, Atma Jigyasa, takes place. And for a person who is opposed to that, that means he is not non-violent, he is not moist with compassion for others, such Atma Jigyasa, knowledge about oneself, about the Supreme Being and the relationship between Atma and Atma, Paramatma, this does not take place. Ekasa Uliya Arjun, Sashar, Sharasan, Parityag Purvam, Shok Akulit Chitte, Rathopari, Upabeshan Korile. After speaking this, Arjuna sat on his chariot with his mind overcome by sorrow after giving up his bows along with their arrows. While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. When we come to chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. 1. Sanjay Uvacha tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashubhunakulekshanam विषीदन्तमिदं वाक्यम् उवाच मधुसूदनः सञ्जयः उवाच तं तथा कृपया आविष्टम् अश्रुपूर्ण आकुल ईक्षणं विषीदन्तम् इदं वाक्यम् उवाच मधुसूदनः. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following words. द्वितीये जीव याथात्म्य ज्ञानं तत् साधनं हरिः निष्काम कर्म च प्रोचे स्थित प्रज्ञस्य लक्षणम्. In the second chapter, Lord Hari speaks about the factual, he gives factual knowledge about the real facts concerning the Jivatma, the means by which one can realize that knowledge, the process of Nishkama Karma, as well as the identifying characteristics of a Sthita Pragya, a person who is fixed in spiritual consciousness. Evam Arjuna Vairagyam Upashrutya Swaputra Rajyabhramsha Ashaya Hrishiyantam Dhritarashtram Alakshya Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya, upon noticing that Dhritarashtra was joyful with the hope that his sons would not lose the kingdom. They would not, the kingdom is not going to slip away from his sons. Upon hearing about Arjuna's detachment, Vairagya, Sanjay spoke the current verse, Tam Tatha iti. Adhusudanaha iti tasya shokam api madhuvat hanishyati iti bhava. He particularly uses the word Madhusudana because he implies that just as he had, Lord Krishna in the past had killed a demon named Madhu, like that, he is going to kill Arjuna's distress now. Sanjay bolilen. Sanjay said, Dokhan, at that time, Kripa Paravash, Ashupurna Nayan, Vishanna Vadan, Arjun ke Avalokan Korea, Shri Madhusudan Kohilen. Shri Madhusudana noticed that Arjuna was overcome by compassion. His eyes were full of tears and his face was dejected. And Lord Sri Madhusudan spoke to him as follows. Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nescience, nescience means ignorance, cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Shudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya and this conduct was not expected from him. In other words, Kshatriyas are expected to preserve. First of all, they are expected to cultivate, grow the qualities meant for that varna and to preserve it under all circumstances, even during crisis. Arjuna was a Kshatriya and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose, the Bhagavad-gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority, Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive results. That means without being attached to the material benefits that come from such religious works, dharmic works, and is situated in the fixed conception of the real self. And he is a Sthita Pragya. 2. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishme Samupastitam Anaryajushtamasvargyam Karamarjuna. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Kutahatva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anaryajushtam Asvargyam Karam Arjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Tad vakyam anuvadati. Then Sanjaya repeats what Lord Sri Krishna had spoken to Arjuna. Sri Bhagavan iti. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashasriya jnana vairagyoschaapi shannam bhaga itingana. इति पराशर उक्तेः ऐश्वर्य आदिभिः षड्भिः नित्यं विशिष्टः समग्रस्य इति एतत् षट्सु योज्यम्. So now what does Sri Bhagavan mean? So he is saying that from the statement of Parashara in Vishnu Purana, Bhagavan is that person who is eternally qualified with 6 opulences headed by Aishwarya. The one who possesses complete. The word samagrasya means complete. And the word complete should be applied to all the 6 opulences. So the one who has a complete Aishwarya, complete sovereignty, complete control, complete heroism, heroic prowess, complete fame, complete beauty, or complete wealth also, complete knowledge, and complete detachment. That person is said to have all these 6 are what are referred to as Bhaga in the word Bhagavan. This actually comes in a portion of Vishnu Purana which analyzes the meaning of Bhagavan. So what is the meaning of Bhaga that is taken up, and what is the meaning of Van that is then taken up later? This is all also quoted and analyzed in Bhagavad Sandarbha, the second Sandarbha of Jiva Goswami. So Sri Bhagavan refers to this. Hey Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, idam swadharma vaimukhyam kashmalam shishtanindyatvat malinam. This contamination means this aversion to your swadharma. From where has it come? Kutaha hetoho? Because of what? Tvam kshatriya chudamanim sam upasthitam abhu. For what reason has this contamination come upon you, a crust jewel of kshatriyas? Contamination. It is called contamination because it is criticized by the cultured spiritualists. Vishame, Yuddha Samaye. Moreover, at this time of crisis, at the time of a war, at this time of a war, this has come about. Nachat mokshaya, swargaya, kirtayeva, etad, yuddha vairagyam. And your renunciation of this war is not going to lead to your liberation. It is not going to lead you to Swarga, heavenly existence, nor is it going to lead you to fame in this life. With this in mind, he speaks, Anarya Jushtam, Anarya iti, Aryaihi, Mumukshubhihi, na Jushtam Sevitam. This is not accepted by those who seek liberation. The civilized people are those who seek liberation from material existence. Aryaha khalu hrid vishuddhaye swadharman acharanti. Indeed, civilized people, the Aryas, they execute their swadharma in order to purify their hearts of lust, anger, and greed. Aswargyam, swarga, upalambhakka, dharma viruddham. And it is also contrary to that kind of dharma which leads one to the heavenly planets if one so desires. Akirtikaram, kirti viplavakam. It completely ousts your fame. It completely destroys whatever good fame that you got. Now, Lord Krishna will substantiate all this in further verses. Bhagavan Kohile, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Arjun, my dear Arjuna, in Bisham Samaye, and during this time of, during this critical juncture, ki janna, tomar, idrish, अनार्ज जनोचित स्वर्ग प्रतिषेध अकीर्तिकर मोह उपस्थित हुई. Why has this delusion, this kind of delusion, that is actually appropriate for the uncivilized, and this delusion, it prevents one from going to Swarga, and it brings about infamy in this life. For what reason has this come upon you? Architanam Prabhu. Aribol, you had a question?
Prabhu, sorry, I was speaking. I could not realize it was mute. In first verse, towards the end of the purport, you were saying that one will attain this realization on two conditions. First is when he becomes a sthita pragya, and when he is not attached to the material benefits received from dharmic works. So in our case, like, can we get an example to better understand that what are the material benefits which a member of ISKCON may get by executing dharmic work, and what dharmic work it is indicating? Is it varna and ashram dharma?
Yes, of course.
So what benefits one may become attached to? Some example of it is there?
When one desires any, if one is a good Kshatriya, he will attain fame. Now, if he is a good Kshatriya only to become famous, then he might start doing all kinds of wrong things also. So then he will not be capable of going to the heavenly planets in his next life, nor will he be capable of becoming liberated, because he has got a desire for fame. That is for Kshatriyas. So like that for Brahmanas also, each one has got his own thing. It's a general principle.
Some desires which Brahmanas may get stuck to, like desire for scholarship.
Desire for scholarship, desire to get people who listen to you. All kinds of things are there.
Okay, bro.
Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical. Therefore, Lord Krishna is referred to as Bhagavan throughout the Gita. Bhagavan is the ultimate in the absolute truth. Absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding, namely Brahman, or the impersonal, all-pervasive spirit, Paramatma, or the localized aspect of the Supreme within the heart of all living entities, and Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11, this conception of the absolute truth is explained thus. वदन्ति तत्तत्त्व विदस्तत्त्वं यज्ञानमद्वयं ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानिति शब्दयते. The absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding by the knower of the absolute truth, and all of them are identical. Such phases of the absolute truth are expressed as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. These three divine aspects can be explained by the example of the sun, which also has three different aspects, namely the sunshine, the sun surface, and the sun planet itself. One who studies the sunshine only is a preliminary student. One who understands the sun's surface is further advanced. And one who can enter into the sun planet is the highest. Ordinary students are satisfied by simply understanding the sunshine, its universal pervasiveness, and the glaring effulgence of its impersonal nature. may be compared to those who can realize only the Brahman feature of the absolute truth. The student who has advanced still further can know the sun disk, which is compared to knowledge of the Paramatma feature of the absolute truth. And the student who can enter into the heart of the sun planet is compared to those who realize the personal features of the supreme absolute truth. Therefore, the bhaktas or the transcendentalists who have realized the Bhagavan feature of the absolute truth are the topmost transcendentalists. Although all students who are engaged in the study of the absolute truth are engaged in the same subject matter. The sunshine, the sun disk, and the inner affairs of the sun planet cannot be separated from one another, and yet the students of the three different phases are not in the same category. The Sanskrit word Bhagavan is explained by the great authority Parashara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva. The Supreme Personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called Bhagavan. There are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached. But no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only Krishna can claim this because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayana, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. Therefore, it is concluded in the Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or above him. He is the primeval Lord or Bhagavan, known as Govinda, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadirada Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. There are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the supreme because none can excel him. He is a supreme person and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the primeval Lord Govinda and the cause of all causes. Brahma Samhita 5.1. In the Bhagavatam also, there is a list of many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Krishna is described as the original personality of Godhead, from whom many incarnations and personalities of Godhead expand. Ete Jamsha Kalapumsar, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Radayanti Yuge Yuge. All the lists of the incarnations of Godhead submitted herewith are either plenary expansions or parts of the plenary expansions of the Supreme Godhead. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, 1.3.28. Therefore, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, the source of both the Super Soul and the impersonal Brahman. In the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna's lamentation for his kinsman is certainly unbecoming, and therefore Krishna expressed his surprise with the word Kutaha, where from. In other words, the six opulences of Bhagavan are the original features of the Supreme Absolute Truth. The Supreme Absolute Truth eternally and intrinsically possesses these six features. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is partially realized as Paramatma and vaguely realized as the impersonal Brahman. That Supreme Personality of Godhead has unlimited forms, which are referred to as the Vishnu Tattva forms, the Vishnu Rupas. Amongst them, in one particular form, he manifests all those opulences fully. In the other forms, he manifests those opulences to whatever degree he thinks is appropriate for his audience. Eternal audience in the spiritual world or temporary audience every time he incarnates. That one particular form in which he manifests all of his opulences fully, both in the spiritual world and when he incarnates here in that form, is known as Swayam Bhagavan. That is Lord Krishna. And in the presence of Lord Krishna himself, Arjuna is lamenting for his kinsman. That Lord Krishna could not tolerate. And therefore, he expressed his surprise. And he considered that this is unbecoming of Arjuna. Such impurities were never expected from a person belonging to the civilized class of men known as Aryans. The word Aryan is applicable to persons who know the value of life and have a civilization based on spiritual realization. So in other words, those who believe that the highest possible achievement of a civilization is to attain spiritual realization of everything that is Sat, Chit, and Ananda, and who know that the human form of life is specifically capable of achieving that realization. Those who accept that civilization is meant to realize Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and Krishna, such people are referred to as Aryans. Persons who are led by the material conception of life do not know that the aim of life is realization of the absolute truth, Vishnu or Bhagavan, and are captivated by the external features of the material world, and therefore they do not know what liberation is. Nate vidu swarthagatim hi Vishnum durashaya ye bahirartham aninaha. So such people do not know what is liberation, and therefore they do not have any desire for liberation. Persons who have no knowledge of liberation from material bondage are called non-Aryans. They have no idea that there is reincarnation and karma, and this is called material bondage, and there is a process by which one can get liberated from this material bondage. These are the non-Aryans. Although Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was deviating from his prescribed duties by declining to fight. This act of cowardice is described as befitting the non-Aryans. So those who have no idea about material bondage and who have no idea about liberation from material bondage and who do not know that that comes about when one realizes Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Krishna, such persons are the ones who would not engage in their swadharma. Such deviation from duty does not help one in the progress of spiritual life, nor does it even give one the opportunity to become famous in this world. Lord Krishna did not approve of the so-called compassion of Arjuna for his kinsmen. In other words, Anarya Jushtam indicates that he cannot get mukti in his next life. Aswargyam indicates he cannot get bhukti in his next life. And Akirtikaram indicates that he cannot get bhukti in this life also. No bhukti in this life, no bhukti in next life, no mukti in next life also. Gone case. 3. Klaibyam masmagamah partha naitatvayi upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa klaibyam masmagamah partha na etatvayi upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva uttishta parantapa. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Nano bandhu kshaya adhyavasaya doshat prakampitena maya kim bhavyam iti chet tatraha klaibyam iti. If Arjuna were to tell Lord Krishna that what should I, who am trembling because of having committed a sin of having resolved to extinguish my own relatives, what should I be thinking? What should I do? So then Lord Krishna says, Klaibyam iti. He Partha, O son of Pritha, Devaraja prasadat Prithayam Itvanam. You are Partha, the son of Pritha. You are born to Pritha, Kunti, by the mercy of the king of the Devas. Klaibyam, Kataryam, Masmagamah, Prapnuhi. Do not succumb to this kind of coward-like nature, cowardice. Tvayi Vishwa Vijetari Mat Sakhe Arjune Kshatra Bandhau Iva Etadri Iva Etad Idrisham Klaibyam Na Upayujyate. You have conquered over the entire world. You are my friend Arjuna. And this kind of cowardice does not fit you. It gives the impression that you are a Kshatrabandhu, that you are just a namesake Kshatriya. You are just a relative of Kshatriya, not a real Kshatriya. Nanu, Name, Shaurya, Abhava Rupam Klaibhyam. And if Arjuna were to say, no, it is not that. I am a coward. I am not a eunuch. Klaibya is derived from the word kleber. Kleber means a eunuch, neither male nor female. Klaibya means being a eunuch, not being masculine. So Krishna is basically saying, why can't you just be a man? And Arjuna is saying, no, I don't lack any heroism like a eunuch. Kintu Bhishma Adishu Pujyeshu Dharma Buddhya Vivekahaya. This is actually proper intellectual discrimination. This is proper judgment on my part on the basis of a consideration of what is dharma towards Bhishma and other worshipable souls. Duryodhana Adishu Ratrishu Mat Shastra Praharenam Maris Yatsu Kripayam. Duryodhana and the others are my brothers, and they want to die by being struck by my weapons. It is my compassion for them. Iti chet. If Arjuna were to say that, Lord Krishna says, Atraha Shuddram iti. He speaks the second half of this verse. Naite tava viveka kripe. No, it is not your intelligent discrimination. It is not your compassion. Kintu Shudram. This non-masculine, eunuch-like nature of yours right now, it is petty. It is low class. Lakhishtam. Hridaya Daurbalyameva. It is nothing but low class weakness of heart. Nothing but that. Tasmat Tyaktva Yudhaya Uttishta Sajjiva. Give up this. Just get rid of this kind of eunuch nature. Stand up for a war. Get ready to fight in this war. He Parantapa, Shatrutapana. He refers to Arjuna as Parantapa. Parantapa means Shatrutapana, one who can burn up his enemies. You are that. Iti Shatru. Hasapatratam Maga. This he wants to, it's a hint. He gives the idea that now don't become the object of jokes for your enemies. Okay, we'll stop at that. We'll resume in the next session. We're going to start with 2.3 Viveka Vidutaranjan. Okay, one channel, Uttara Vishya Vipasam, the Pia Vacha, Patana Bhavana, Pia Vaishnu, Pia.